what's happening, good people? What's happening out there? I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here for yet another episode here on YouTube. Don't forget, man, you guys can always go to www.travisknows.com. Find the YouTube section at the bottom if you'd like to join us over here and actually see what it is that we'll be going over. And we're going to be going over that $1.7 trillion spending bill that has just come out. We're going to take a quick glimpse of it. So if you're here, make sure you're hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, tell somebody else about what we got going on over here so they can take advantage of this information as well. Before I get started, I want to give shout outs to all my government personnel who watch my content no matter where you are. I just want to let you know I don't care what you say. Okay? I'm here to educate the people and to bring them to government contracting by any means necessary. So, with that said, I may say things that are clickbaitish. It's to get people to get interested in government contracting. So I don't need your input or your value add of what you believe I'm saying, because I just don't care. Now, if you would like to help out the community and bring more of our people into government contracting and keep that positive energy, by all means, we would love to hear from you. But if all you got to do is talk about the stuff that I say, again, I don't want to hear from you and I don't care what you got to say. I'll probably end up blocking you at some point. I just wanted to give that to my government personnel. Now, let's keep the party moving. Again, if you guys are here for the first time, make sure you introduce yourself. Let us know who you are in the comments, where you're from, what it is that you do. What can you help with? Okay, what can you help somebody else with your services? And most importantly, what do you need some help with? What do you need help with out there? What do you want to buy? What do you want to partner with? Go ahead and drop that in the comments. So again, people can connect with you, and most importantly, put that contact information in there so people can find you. But in the meantime, if it's your first time hanging out with me, I'm Dr. Travis Davis here. I've been doing government contracting a little over 11 years. I've done over $1 million at the age of 25. I specialize in marketing. In my government side of my business, we do IT and a couple of other things that are really not too clear what we do, but that's why I got people that I've hired, because that is their specialty. I know they're doing something with air. So we have that going on as well. We've been able to train over 1,500 students in government contracting, which again, that is my ultimate goal, is getting my people involved in government contracting by any means necessary. Once again, if you would like to catch up with me, always put www in the front, but www.travisknows.com, and you can access every single thing that we got going on here. All right. In the meantime, before we get started, who do we have in the building? Let me see. I see my man Greg is up here. What's happening with you, Greg? Always a pleasure to have you. Hey, and shout outs to Greg. Got some affiliate commissions coming in. That is what I'm talking about. If you guys haven't gotten in our 10K in 30 days challenge, I highly advise you guys to jump in there so you can learn how to start building your business on the internet and generating yourself some revenue while we wait for our contract. So I want to give that shout out to Greg for going above and beyond and making some things happen. Marsha, what's happening? I'm glad that you are here. Is this your first time here, Marsha? I don't remember seeing that name pop up before. Also, govconcheatcodes.com. If you guys want to know anything about government that we got going on here, you can always visit www.govconcheatcode.com, and it'll bring you to what we got going on. And if you'd like to get in our 10K and 30-day program for free, okay, there's a paid version and there's a free version. But if you want to hop in the free version and see what we are doing on this internet, how we're generating revenue right here, by all means, visit. Well, that shouldn't have been GovCon cheat codes. That should have been Pure Money. Oh, there it goes. PureMoneyLegacy.com. You want to visit PureMoneyLegacy.com. Fill out that information, and it will also kick you to one of my Facebook groups so you can stay updated with what we got going on and learn how to generate this revenue on the internet. Before we get rolling here, again, I do want to see who else that we got in the room. Who else we got here? We got Kia, what's happening? Pleasure to see you back here as well. Wendy, I see that you have a question. Everybody, if you have questions at any time watching the videos, make sure you put a Q with a dash and then put your question in it so I can make sure that I answer your questions as they come. Again, put Q dash and then put your question so that way I do not miss it. Camille, thanks for being here as well. Camille Christie. I don't know if the picture, I haven't seen that picture before. Is this your first time here too, Camille? If it is, thank you. Marsha, I see that you are in logistics, the freight logistics business out of North Carolina. Haven't bidded on any contracts yet. Again, thanks for being here. Christian, what's happening, my brother? Thanks for being here as well. Let's see. Marsha said our niche market since I'm in construction. Just looking to get construction contracts. That's what's up. All right, Christian said, I'm new to the contracting community, but I specialize in IT systems, software engineer, and can help with any technical matters. What's happening, Christian? I thank you for being here, man. IT, huge thing in government contracting. And again, guys, make sure you are partnering up. And yes, it was your first time here, Marsha. Thanks for being here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Kim, what's happening? I see you in the building as well. What's going on? Dr. Shantae, what's up? Now, guys, before we get started out here and dive into our lesson, I need to make sure that you guys are prepared mentally for government contracting. So I need you to put, no matter where you're watching this at, put in the chat, I am a millionaire. That's it. It ain't for me. It's for yourself. I need you to put in the comments, no matter where you're watching me at this moment, I am a millionaire, because I need you to wake up each and every day and start taking millionaire actions. The actions that you take, making a couple $1,000, $60,000 a year, ain't going to be the same actions that you take in order to generate $1 million. Do you know that's $83,333 every single month? Most people only make $80,000 a year, if that. So when I say I am a millionaire, it's because I need you to stop taking the same daily actions to earn $80,000 and think that's going to make you $1 million. You got to change up everything that you've been doing. And I'm not saying abandon the job and things of that nature, but I'm telling you, the tactics that you have been taking for majority of your life are not millionaire tactics. So it starts with believing that you're going to become a millionaire. And that's why we type, I am a millionaire. And I see them all coming in. All right. Before we dive into our lesson here, I see the questions coming up as well. Again, make sure that you always put Q with a dash followed by your question so we can take a look at that. But before we dive into that here, we got some housekeeping that we got to get through. Now, we've changed a lot of things up here with GovCon cheat codes and pure money. So I want to give you guys the update of what's going on. You can always visit govconcheatcode.com or codes. It should bring you to the same place. And it's a whole new platform, whole new view that you're going to be able to take a look at. And we'll go over this here in a second. But if you're not sure if you're ready for government contracting yet, if you look at the top, you'll see an assessment tab. You can actually go there, take the assessment, and find out if you're ready for government contract and how we can help you. Okay. And again, taking this assessment will kick you to the best place that we can help you out with what we got going on. You can find that at govconcheatcode.com. Answer the questions here. I believe it's about 10 to 15 questions. And then it will go ahead and take you to where you need to be. All right. The next thing that we have going on is our 1-year program. Okay. If you guys would like to get involved in our training, we do have something going on for a whole year. Okay. You're going to get access to live calls with me the last Monday of every month. You're going to get a back office full of training videos that you can get yourself educated and running right now. I will warn everybody, you do not need every single lesson that I have in my back office. The biggest thing is to find out what you need at this moment, study that video, and then start taking the actions behind it. And when you get stuck, bring them to our live call each and every month. So you're going to have 12 live mentorship calls with me as well. You're going to get access to my Google Drive that has tons of information, scripts back there that you can utilize, questions, bid, no bid, templates that's going on right there. You're also going to get access to affiliate commissions. You'll be able to tell somebody about this program and generate yourselves 25% of whatever that sales price is. I will tell you the price goes up $100 every 5 purchases. So that means that your affiliate commission will continue to rise as well. And most importantly, you'll be put in our Facebook group amongst our community. I believe it gets easier when you're around like-minded individuals talking about this stuff. So you'll actually be able to take part in that as well. Now, again, govconcheatcode.com is our new platform. I advise you to come here, fill out this information. It will automatically kick you to our government contracting Facebook group. This isn't our private Facebook group. This isn't the Pure Money Legacy Facebook group. This is strictly for government contracting. So again, you fill this out, it'll automatically kick you to the group free of charge. You come up here and look at our programs. You can see everything that we got going on. If you would like to schedule a consultation, that'll be right here. We will be doing our live government contracting event March 24th and 25th here in Washington, D.C. That will be coming up here soon. The advance tickets will start at $297, but I won't lie. I will offer it to the people in my programs first because that's what I promised them. As part of buying into the program, they get first dibs. So I'll be releasing it to them next week. And then by the end of next week, we should have this open for everybody else to jump into our event that we got going on down here. And we'll also be adding stuff to the blogs. If you purchase anything that we got going on government contracting related, you can always come right here, click the button, log in, sign into your account, and you will be able to access whatever program you have purchased that we got right here in your back office at all times. The last thing that we got going on for you guys is the 7-day government contracting challenge, federal government contracting challenge. The next one is going to be starting in 31 days. All right. So for 7 days straight, I teach you everything that you need to know about government contracting. Again, you can visit govconcheatcode.com and find the 7-day challenge up there at the top and get yourself registered. Once again, this will start in 31 days, the next class. So get yourself registered right now. And that will be for $297. All right. Now let's dive into a little bit of what we're going to be talking about here today. Again, we're going to be bringing up the bill that the president has signed here, the $1.7 trillion appropriations bill, the Omnibus 2023. We're just going to take a look at this. One thing that I like to pay attention to is new money. Okay. Anytime I see new money, that tells me that competition could be a little bit more lower. Essentially, there's no incumbent. That's the thing. You know, nobody has ever had this money before. So since there's no incumbent, it kind of opens up the door for people like you and me to get in front of the money, get in front of the opportunities, and explain to the government that we have the best solution for them. And that's why we're going to follow the money every time these bills come out and realize that, again, this is a great place for people who are getting started. It's an extremely great place for people who got their stuff together, already been doing some good business. You can now bring it over to this new money and do even better business. Okay. If you guys would like to stay updated with this stuff, you can put in fiscal year 2023 omnibus appropriation bills highlight in Google, and it should be able to pop up there for you. Also, while we're going over this, just a quick reminder here, make sure, again, no matter where you are at, that you go ahead, you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, you share this information out with another minority entrepreneur so they can get involved with government contracting. It's very important that we get our people involved with government contracting, okay? So let's take a look at this stuff, all right? Again, we have the Senate Appropriations Committee Chairman Patrick Lee. He released this $1.7 trillion fiscal year 2023 omnibus appropriations bill. It includes $772 billion for non-defense programs. Okay, so for non-defense, anything outside of DOD, there's a new $772.5 billion that will be getting spent this year. It's also including $118.7 billion, which is a 22% increase for VA medical care, and $850 billion in defense spending. So that is your DOD side. So it's a lot of money coming down this pipeline and a lot of opportunity for businesses to get involved in just this bill. Again, this is not the budget. This is not the contracts that are already in the streets that have come out on a forecast. Like, this is all new money. Okay. It states this bill includes $44.9 billion in emergency assistance for the U word. It also says that $40.6 billion is to assist committees across the country recovering from droughts, hurricanes, flooding, wildlife, natural disasters, and other matters. So when I read things like this, I know who deal with droughts, hurricanes, flooding, wildfire, natural disasters, and other matters. That's usually FEMA. Again, I'm not saying that all of this money is going to FEMA, this $40.6 billion. But as I start to follow the money and then I look through it more, chances are that this money could be going towards FEMA because that is what they handle. And when I say this money, I'm talking about this $40.6 billion. Okay. Let's keep going. Now, let's take a look at the priorities of what they're saying is going on with this money. All right. It says that $58.765 billion from the Highway Trust Fund to meet the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act obligation. So what I would be doing if this is like the lane that I want to be in, the transportation, well, I don't want to say transportation. I want to say infrastructure lane. I would be making sure that I Google Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act so I can understand more about that act, who's over it, what they got going on, because I know they got some money. The Federal Aid Highways Program is getting $3.418 billion from the general fund, which includes $1.145 billion to reduce the backlog of structurally deficient bridges. So, when I read black and white, what's in black and white on paper like this, these are like key words for me to take a look at. Structurally deficient bridges. That's the words that the government is using to explain the situation. So as I'm looking through opportunities, and I know that bridges are usually going to be inside of your state, I may be looking up what's going on in my state for structurally deficient bridges. Don't use your own words. It's a reason they put that specific word in here. Okay. You got $1.8 billion in new funding to implement the bipartisan Chips in Science Act of 2022. So once again, if you are that type of person, you should be looking up the Chips in Science Act of 2022. It'll tell you a lot of information. And my traders out there who trade options and things of that nature, honestly, you should be looking up this stuff too. Maybe just because, you haven't went after a contract, that doesn't mean that you don't look up this stuff and understand that if a company is getting involved in this space and they get 10% of this $1.8 billion to do something, I mean, that's going to raise their numbers. Unless they do a bad job, then they could tank it like Boeing. Boeing did a bad job. Again, if you follow government contracting, what did the FAA do? The FAA said, Boeing, you got to sit all your planes, all them new planes that you made, you got to sit them down. That sinks a stock, right? So I'm just giving you guys some of that advice to understand that there's a bigger picture to the budget when we look at this stuff, okay? The next thing that we got right here is $5 billion for the cost of war toxic exposure fund. Again, don't just read it. Go look up what the cost of war toxic exposure fund is, so you can get an understanding of what's going on right there, which provides additional funding to implement the landmark Act that expands eligibility for health care services and benefits to veterans with conditions related to toxic exposure during their service. All right, let's take a little bit deeper. Now, they got support for public schools and college access and affordability. I thought this was a pretty funny one. So what we got right here, they're talking about increasing the Pell Grant. If you've ever went to college or whatnot, you know about the Pell Grant. So they're taking some of that money and they're increasing the Pell Grant from $500 to $7,400, essentially, just for the 2023 and 2024 school year. It's the largest increase in the maximum Pell Grant award since 2009 and 2010. I wasn't a part of none of those, so I don't know what it is, okay? It says approximately 7 million students pursue post-secondary education and further their careers. So they're looking to help out over 7 million students with those Pell Grants. I don't know how. Let me see. Did they put the dollar amount now? All right, $18.387 billion, a 5% increase in the Title IA grants, which is local education agencies program. So we got some more money coming out for grants in that. We got another $15.154 billion coming out for special education state programs. Guys, the moral of what all this says is if you're going back to school, like, don't just go back to school and be stupid. Like, pay attention to these bills and acts and all of this stuff that they got going on. They're literally trying to hand out money for people who are trying to further their education, but it is going to be some paperwork behind it. I'm almost for certain that there's going to be paperwork. If you're in the low income, what does it say? 1.2 billion is for TRIO. I have no clue what TRIO is, okay? But it helps over 800 low income first generation students. So if you know you're in a low income situation and you are the first generation going to school in your family, what the odds are that you should probably be looking into this TRIO thing a little bit more. Again, I don't have I don't have no kids in school. I already been through school. So yes, I see it, but you need to go get yourself deeply educated in it if it fits you. Anytime you guys hear me talk about something, if it fits what you're trying to do, don't take my word for it. Go get more educated in it. Okay? The next thing that they're doing with this bill is that they're looking for funding for child care. Yes, child care. There was a problem going on. Okay? Well, it says $8 billion is for child care and development block grant. Okay? Again, if you are in that lane, you probably know what a child care and development block grant is. If not, Google it. There's another $11.996 billion for the Head Start program. I remember Head Start being in my high school. So if you know about the Head Start program, if you're working in the Head Start program currently at this moment, helping out these babies, and you realize that there's some money coming down the pipeline for Head Start, you should be talking to your directors or your manager or whoever and letting them know about this new money because they may not know anything about it. Again, this is the reason why I provide the information so you can go get more. Don't just take this one YouTube video and say, this is the end all be all. No, I didn't write this, nor do I have the money. I'm just reading it off to you so you can go get yourself more deeply involved. Okay. The next thing that they're putting money towards is the healthcare funding, access, and research. All right, this bill's core investment is in the health and well-being of people of this country and abroad, from supporting groundbreaking research. Guys, this is what I love about reading in government, right? Reading is key. What does it say? This is to support groundbreaking research to improve access and affordability. Guys, what is groundbreaking research? You know what I'm saying? Like, all somebody got to do is say that I got groundbreaking research going on and blah, 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 and they'll pay you for it. Of course, you want to be doing some great research, but I'm telling you that because there's people out here that do tons of research for the government every single year, and they come up with no solution, but it was groundbreaking. So why can't we do it too? That's all I'm trying to tell you. Why can't you play the games just like everybody else? So you start your groundbreaking research if that's your lane. It says the $47.5 billion will be going to NIH. Okay, so now that we know you're in that lane, let's see. What is NIH going to be doing with $47.5 billion? That's 5.6% more than what they got previously. So they need a new home for all this new money. It advances the science and speeds the development of new therapies, diagnostics, and preventative measures. So if you got that stuff, NIH. And when I say you got it, I don't mean that you do it. Maybe you know somebody else that is a researcher or whatnot in that lane. They could come work for you. Okay. You got another $9.2 billion that's going towards CDC. So again, pay attention. CDC's getting $9.2 billion. That's an increase of $760 million. So they got a whole new $760 million that's coming to them. More than half of the increase was provided for fundamental public health activities spread across core programs like public health infrastructure, capacity programs, the Infectious Disease Rapid Response Reserve Fund, Global Public Health Protection, the Forecasting and Outbreak Analytics Center, and the Public Health Workforce and Data Modernization. Now, let me break some things down for you guys. When it says something like $760 million is going towards all of these places, and, let's just take the Forecasting and Outbreak Analytics Center. Now, in most people's mind, you're going to be thinking that this money is going towards like the research for forecasting outbreaks. I mean, because that's the title of the agency or the office or whatnot, and they just say that they're giving the money towards that. But you got to understand that they're giving the money to the office. That don't just mean that all of this money is going towards research. Well, they still got to buy the computers. They still got to buy the software or licenses that go on the computer. Probably if they're talking about outbreaks or whatnot, they still got to travel. They got to stay in hotels. They got to eat food. They probably got to print stuff off. So you got your printers, your ink, your paper. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that is involved with coming up with the forecasting before they can even forecast. So you have to pay attention to that. Definitely if you're in the IT field, all of this stuff probably includes some form of IT. Okay. You got another $3.3 billion for the Assistant Secretary of Preparedness and Response, ASPR, an increase of $560 million. What does it say? This investment will strengthen our nation's biosecurity by accelerating advanced research and development of medical countermeasures for pandemic threats and fortifying our stockpiles and supply chains for drugs, Oh man, look at the government getting smart. So let me tell you, this is why they put this line in here, stockpiles and supply chains. When the pandemic happened, hoarding was going on. So the items that we need, and I mean, you guys seen it. They was releasing things like they'll fine you for hoarding products because we're in America. America is a capitalistic country, so we're ran off supply and demand. Well, if the supply is short and the demand is high, you raise the price on everything. If you got a lot of supply and a low demand, well, you got to lower the prices to get things out. So with the government, from what I'm reading right here and based off my interpretation, again, you can interpret things the way that you want. I advise you to always read and come up with your own answers to things. You don't have to listen to my answers to absolutely nothing. And once again, if you don't like my answers to anything, I really don't need your negative input. You can hit the unfollow button, the block button, whatever you need to do, but just don't come to me with your negativity. Okay. Now, 1.5 billion goes towards the second year of ARPA-H. I have no clue what that is. It's the president's bold proposal to accelerate the pace of breakthroughs in medicine. It just sounds like the president is trying to give more rich people more money so they can keep coming up with breakthroughs in medicine. And we know who's doing all of the breakthroughs in medicines. So nice little bill there. 900 million is going to 900 million, an increase of 200 million above the fiscal year 2022 to support global health security programs. 613 million for the fourth year of domestic HIV/AIDS elimination initiative. This is what I'm talking about. Increase of 100 million for the HIV and AIDS initiative. Like, bro, when are they going to figure it out? I'm just saying. I could go down this rabbit hole. Another 6.725 billion to combat HIV and AIDS. So you got one that's looking to eliminate HIV and AIDS. They're getting 100 million, but they put $1 billion towards combating HIV and AIDS abroad. This ain't even for us. That's funny. So it's 6.725 billion is going to combat HIV and AIDS abroad. Okay. An increase of 445 million above the fiscal year. So if you in another country, you know what I'm saying? If you work with USAID, that's probably maybe where this money could be going to. USAID, because they work abroad. You got a 575 million consent with prior year levels for bilateral family planning. I'm going through that. You got 320 million, nearly 60%. Oh, I like this one. There's 324 million, a 60% increase in health resources and services administrations. The CDC, the NIH initiatives aimed at improving material health and reducing the nation's alarming high maternal and mortality rate. I guess they better increase all that money for what they got going on. So again, if you have solutions to this stuff, there's new money coming down the pipeline. You should be following this money to the agency, contacting the small business department in there, the OSDBU, and introducing yourself, letting them know that you have a solution towards one of these problems. You're not going to walk in the office and say, I want to do government contracting. They know you do that. They're going to give you the script. But if you come in there following the money and saying, hey, I got a solution to X, Y, and Z, things change. Also, I was mentioning this stockpile stuff. Again, the government, they was getting robbed. They realized like, okay, well, since y'all was hoarding items and driving up the price, instead, going forward, we need to dump a lot of money so we can stockpile these items ourselves. So when something else happens, you notice I didn't say if, I said when, because it will happen, that the items are already there with the government, so they're not overpaying crazy prices for these items. You got the other thing, supporting mental health. You know, mental health is the biggest thing that people talk about right now. So why the government ain't talking about it as well? You got a $1 billion for the mental health block grant. Again, if you are involved in mental health, you should be Googling mental health block grant so you can understand where this $1 billion is going towards. It will provide health treatment and services. Again, provide. The government ain't providing this stuff. A contractor is. Provide mental health treatment and services and support community mental health services. A whole $1 billion is sitting right there for you. You got $501 million, nearly a $400 million increase for the suicide prevention lifeline to successfully transition to 988. The lifeline in 988 is the new 3-digit dialing code. Oh, look, I didn't even know that. So you don't dial 911 no. Well, you still dial 911, but if you have a mental crisis, if you're thinking about suicide, you dial 988. I didn't know that at all. I'm reading and finding out something new here. All right, but they got to pay for that. That 988 that everybody needs, you know, everybody was asking to solve the mental health problem. Somebody came to the government and told them, hey, I think we should have a call in line like 911 and we'll call it 988. Well, guess what? The phone number ain't the only thing that got to get staffed. That got to be purchased. You got to have a staff to answer the phones. You got to have a phone line, and this has probably got to be over IP, VoIP, voice over IP, 9 times out of 10 with this 988. They got to have the right system that routes these calls that they could track your information, especially if you're going to be suicidal. So there's a lot of technical. There's going to be new computers that are needed for the reps as they answer these calls. They're probably going to need some type of ticketing system as every call comes in. This is you thinking outside of the box and following this money saying, hey, well, if you are going to have a call in line, what else goes along with that? And then I follow and backtrack the money. You got $385 million for certified community behavioral health clinics. You got $140 million for Project Aware. $130 million for children's mental health services, $111 million for Department of Education programs designed to increase the availability of mental health services in schools, including by expanding training programs to prepare new school counselors, social workers, and psychologists. So guess what? If you have a training program that can teach the social workers, counselors, and psychologists, well, guess what? They got some money available for you. They're trying to incorporate this stuff inside of the school system. Well, you should be jumping in front of the Department of Education and figuring out, how does this money trickle down? Because I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, the Department of Education will not disperse $111 million to individual projects. Instead, they're going to give it to like a group or one of their other branches, or maybe even a nonprofit that they'll award this stuff to. And then it's the job of that group or that nonprofit or whoever to disperse the $40 million and get the reports back or whatever that says that they did X, Y, and Z with your money. The next big issue that we got going on is the opioid issue. It's a huge issue going on, honestly, because other people that ain't of the colored skin tone are using opioids, and all of a sudden it's a problem now. But again, I'm not here to argue about that either. Instead, I'm paying attention to the money, because this is your opportunity to not just generate some revenue for yourself, but you get to make a huge impact. This opioid problem is in every community. Okay. Now they got $4.9 billion, which, I mean, that's not enough, honestly, to address the opioid misuse. That's an increase of $345 million. Nearly $1.6 billion goes to states to address the opioid epidemic through the state opioid response grant. So every state, from what I'm reading, has some money. And in order to access this money for that problem, you need to look up the state opioid response grant, and then you'll find out how your state is requiring you to access this funding to help out the opioid problem. You got a $100 million increase for the substance abuse prevention and treatment block grant. Look it up. You got $111 million for medication assisted treatment. That's like that program that they had going on in Philly, where they're handing out the crack pipe and all the drugs, the whole kit, the whole nine, because someone came up with a way that they seen overseas to help fight the opioid problem. And they brought it in front of the government, and the government said, according to the data, it looks good. Let's go with it. So that's what medication assisted treatment is. If you have some type of treatments out here for the opioid problem that requires medication, again, $111 million coming out for it. $505 million for opioid overdose surveillance and prevention at the CDC, $80 million to address the needs of children affected by the opioid problem, $145 million to help affected rural communities to combat the opioid epidemic. So from what I'm reading there, is that the rural areas are having issues because probably they don't have the resources out there. Cities usually got resources with all the homeless people around and just all the problems that happen in cities. It requires a lot of resources to be there. But in your rural area, 9 times out of 10, it ain't a lot of resources there that's going to help these people out. So they're looking towards you to create those resources for them. You got $608.5 million in a dedicated grant program that's going to be funding across commerce, justice, and science appropriations bill to respond to the substance use disorder, including opioids and drug trafficking. All right, you got $471 million for the Office of National Drug Control Policy. Again, if this is something that you do, follow the money. All right, let's get to the next issue that we got in the United States. They're addressing the food insecurity. So my people that's involved in the food lane, we got some money for you. Before I dive into this food lane, if you are enjoying this information, I want you to put a fire emoji in the comments, no matter where you are. And right after you do that, I need you to go ahead, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, tell somebody else about what you guys are learning right now at this moment. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you all who continue to consume this content. I can't get this thing to grow and educate the community without each and every one of you all. So I thank you all for continuing to support what we got going on here. All right. Appreciate the fire emoji too, Christian. Thank you. All right. Now we're getting back to the food insecurities. And y'all know I get a little antsy. Y'all better put those fire emojis in this chat. I'm going to say that again before I keep reading. Because it's a very easy task to do. So if I educate and I ask you to just do something small like that, I would like you to do that. That helps out the algorithm. So if I would like to help you, I'm asking you to help me. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate you all. Because I will cut it off. Y'all know I will. Okay? Now let's get back to it. Addressing food insecurities. What does it say? With the price of groceries going up more than 10%, families across the country are struggling to make ends meet. Food bank. Oh, Nike, stop it. Come on, man. Get off my camera. Somebody asked Nike. Here he is right here messing stuff up. All right. Food banks. What does it say? The country are struggling to make ends meet. Food banks are being squeezed as they try to provide for their communities. Democrats secured funding that will help families ends meet at the grocery store and to help ensure children have access to the nutrition food that they need. These investments include, so once again, if you are having issues at this moment to feed your families, you should be paying attention. If you are a person who is providing a solution in your community to feed families, you should be paying attention. There's $154 billion for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That's $13.4 billion being increased for that thing. There's $28.5 billion for the Child Nutrition Program. So you Google Child Nutrition Programs, you Google Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and you meet them where they're at. How do I get involved in your program? Not how does the program get involved with what I got going on. They got the money. You need to conform to them, not the other way around. $400 million will be going to Summer Electronic Benefits Program. That don't even sound like food. Okay. But look that up. It could be. $30 million for school equipment grants. I don't know how all of this falls under food. I don't know. You definitely would got to go look at that board. I'm literally reading this for the first time with you guys right here. So sometimes I read this stuff and it catches me off guard because school equipment doesn't go with food, not unless they're requiring it be food equipment. I don't know. This funding will ensure schools can continue to serve healthy meals. So I don't know. But I do know that the money is supposed to be helping these schools get healthy food. So to me, if you got vending machines, maybe you focus on the schools that got vending machines and got unhealthy snacks in it. And then you pay attention to the program, let the school know, hey, it's some money coming out here. The school may not even know about this new money. You may have to educate the school on the new money that's available so they can go get it and give it to you. This is the beauty about this space. Just because it's written here don't mean that everybody knows the ins and outs of it. Okay? You got $6 billion for special supplement nutrition program for women, infants, and children, which fully funds anticipated participation and ensure that over 4 million low-income women and children do not see their benefits. You know what's always funny to me? Are men, are there not low-income men and children? It's just always women and children? They never have anything for, men and children. Whatever. Across the globe, more than 820 million people go to bed hungry every night, and more than 49 million people in 49 countries are on the edge of famine. I don't know. The United States is committed to combating hunger both domestically and abroad. Remember, domestically is here, abroad is other countries. All right. We do have Americans in other countries as well. Okay. This bill funds 2 programs that provide foreign food aid. This includes Food for Peace program, which is funded at $1.8 billion. So again, if you're trying to provide food in other countries, you want to go ahead and look at the Food for Peace program. You got the McGovern-Dole International. That's funny. I wonder if that's what the pineapple people, the Dole, just funny. Dole International Food for Education Program, which is funded by $248 million for an increase of $11 million over 2022. So once again, that is for the food side of the house, if that's your thing. The next one we got is protecting our environment. Yes, we care about the environment in America. California is cracking down on things. If you ain't paying attention to this environment and these new rules that's about to come out, you about to get hit. Okay. You got $10 billion for EPA that's coming out. This funding invests in core environmental programs after years of flat funding, providing $72 million for enforcement and compliance programs. Do you see that? Enforcement and compliance. This is just like writing stuff out. $32 million increase for clean air programs. $20 million increase for toxic chemical programs. Again, guys, you should be listening to clubhouse rooms, going to meetings. It's tons of people talking about the solutions that they're creating for this, but they ain't bringing it to the government, which baffles me. So you could become their consultant And now you bring them to the government and generate some money off of it. You got $3.4 billion for the parks and $210 million. No, the funding restores 500. Okay. This funding restores 500 of the 3,000 staff position losses suffered over the past decade that have limited the availability of service and address challenges, especially substantial increase in visitation. So probably their visitation centers, the parks that people are visiting a lot, they need some more personnel there. They need exactly 500 to be exact. They really need 3,000, but they're starting with 500. There's a $4 billion is provided for wildland firefighting, if that's you. $2.5 billion is provided for the Wildlife Suppression Operations Reserve Fund, and $450 million is provided for disaster. So if you're in the wildlife disaster game, it's a lot of money for you. Follow it. There's $3.46 billion for energy efficiency and renewable energy. EERE is what they're calling it. Okay. These increased funds will energize efforts from vehicle technologies to hydrogen research and the development, marine, wind, solar energy, and weatherization assistance programs and renewable grid integration. I don't know if you guys have ever had those people that come by your house talking about they'll install a new thermostat or they'll put new light bulbs in your house or here's the money that they're getting it from. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a reason that they America ain't that nice that they just put new thermostats in your house. They ain't that nice that they just want to switch out all your light bulbs. The government paid them to do that. That's why they're so generous in coming in and giving you the stuff. But they need the form for you to sign off to say that you got it so they can get reimbursed from the government for those supplies and their service, of course. So again, if you're in that lane, there's tons of opportunity. The next one that we got right here, state foreign operations related programs bills includes $385 million towards the support of biodiversity and conversation programs. I have no clue what biodiversity and conversation programs is. That's a key word right there. You got $260 million to support clean energy programs, $270 million for the adaptation programs, $185 million for sustainable landscape programs, $125 million for clean technology fund. Authorized also included in U.S. contributions to the Adaptation Fund and Least Developed Countries Fund. I mean, there's just a lot of funds right here, man. If you're into this whole energy thing, you got a lot of funds that you need to read up on and follow the money. It's very simple. Well, we had a thing with the vets. So here they go. They're trying to support the vets. All right. Funding, fully funding the 4.6% pay raise for our troops. So all troops, I guess they're getting a 4.6% pay raise. Pretty dope for them. You got $5 billion going for the cost of war toxic exposure fund. Okay. I believe that is for our vets who was involved in, situations that they got toxic exposures during whatever they were doing. You got $118 billion going to the VA medical care. All right. Trying to break that down. It provides essential health services for more than 7.3 million veterans. So if you're providing health care for vets, or if you are a vet yourself, you may need to educate your local VA if, they're helping you with medical services or whatnot, or just educate yourself first to understand that it's some funding that's going out there to assist you all. I got a soft spot for my vets here, because they could do something that I'm never going to do, fight in this country. I can't do it. So I'm always with doing all that we can do for our vets because they protect us. All right. You got $52.8 billion addresses the higher inflations, as well as an additional $8 billion to address price escalation, including $1.7 billion for basic allowance for substance, housing, and other expenses for military personnel. Pretty dope. $800 million for higher utility costs and $400 million for defense health program pricing increasing. Now I need to pause right here, guys. I need you to pay attention to what they're saying. They already see the problem in America. Now, our vets is what they're trying to take care of. But I need you to understand as people, if they are putting this much money towards the vets because they're telling us right here in this information that we're reading that the health services for veterans is increasing. And it's increasing by 22.4% for health care of veterans. So you don't think the health care for yourself is going to increase? It ain't just increasing for the vets. A doctor is a doctor. Healthcare is healthcare. It doesn't make a decision whether you're a vet and we're going to change the prices for the vet opposed to a citizen. The hospital's going to charge how the hospital charges. So if the prices are going up for the people that we should be caring about a lot in this world, the people that protect us, why you think the price ain't going to go up for you? So again, as I read this stuff, I'm not just reading it for government contracting. I'm reading it to understand that this is the way that the economy is about to start moving. So I advise all you guys that you need to be raising your budget for health care, just like the United States government is raising their budget for health care. Because it's going to affect you. What does it say? Higher inflation as well to address price escalation for basic allowance for substance, housing, and other expenses. Once again, you've already seen the housing prices increase. They're making it aware. Although you may hear Joe and all them, President Biden, that's what I'm talking about, President Joe Biden and all of them get on TV talking about they're trying to combat inflation and all these prices. Nah, they're not trying to combat it. The prices is going to be what the prices is. And they know it so well that they wrote in here for the veterans that we need to give them more money because the price is going to be what the price is going to be. They're not hiding it from us. They put it in writing. We just be so emotional that we don't pay attention to what's in front of our face. So going forward, housing prices will increase. Going forward, utility costs for you will increase. You have to understand this stuff. It does not just impact the veterans. Now let's keep going. $2.7 billion to support critical services and housing assistance for veterans and their families experiencing housing insecurity. I know you know some people that's experiencing housing insecurities. Only problem is they ain't got $2.7 billion coming towards them. You got $840.5 million for gender-specific healthcare services because you know we in America and the whole gender thing is just taking off, okay? So they got to make sure they do new rules for gender-specific. To me, look, you should be saving a life. I don't care whose life it is, whatever gender you claim to be. I don't think you're going to care if the doctor needs to save your life, that you're going to pause the doctor and say, I only want a male doctor because of my gender, but whatever. If enough people argue in America, they can get America to do anything. All right. So that was for our vets. Let's see what we got now. Investing in affordable housing, preventing homelessness for vulnerable households. Oh, well, look, I was just talking earlier. I didn't even see this down here. They're telling us homelessness is going to be on the rise. And see, I ain't talking about the homeless people on the streets right now. They're talking about the people who are about to lose their house. So also in my mind, as I'm reading this, if you are an investor, you have to have in your mind, you know that people are about to lose their living. Wherever they live at, people are about to lose it. I don't have to guess about it. I just understand that they're trying to combat it. Even though they put $1.5 billion towards this, it won't be enough. All of these houses, you know what I'm saying? Houses calling $500,000, $1 million. You only put $1.5 billion towards that. If you get, I don't know, 1 million people that lose their house, I mean, you could burn through this in no time. Because the bank is still going to want all their money back. Whoever they loan the money to going to want all their money back plus interest, and you still going to have what you can't allow to be a sore, you know, or else you just let the whole community run down. So it's a lot that goes into combating this quote unquote thing called homelessness. $1.5 billion will go towards home investment partnership programs. If you got a home right now, you should be looking this stuff up. What is the home investment partnership program? Which will lead to construction of nearly 10,000 new rental and home buyer units. Oh man, I may need to look into that my damn self. So it sounded like the people who are building infrastructure around here, housing infrastructure, they got $1.5 billion if you're willing to build new rentals and homes, new rental and home buyer units. So everything's got to be new. You got to build all new for this program from what I'm reading. And again, you need to pull the program up to find out more about it. You got $6.3 billion for community development block grant formula programming and related local economic and community development projects that benefit low and moderate income areas and people. So again, what you should probably do is Google what is low, moderate income areas and people. What does the system consider it to be? Not what your auntie said and your uncle said or what you're thinking. How does the system come up with the definition to this word? All right. You got another $3.6 billion going to the homeless assistance grant. You got $2 billion going towards rural housing services. You got $1.45 billion for the housing for elderly and the housing for persons with disabilities program. What is this? To support new awards of capital advance and rental assistance opportunities to serve the estimated 2,900 additional households. You got $130 million for new incremental Section 8 housing choice vouchers. That's to support over 11,700 additional low-income households, including families and individuals experiencing or at risk of homelessness, survivors of domestic violence, veterans at risk of experiencing homelessness, and youth aging out of foster care. If you fall in any of those buckets, there's some funding available for you. We got our tribal program. Now, tribal is a little bit different. This is going to go to your Native Americans, your Alaskan Natives. This is your tribal programs. This is available for them. Okay. I'm not going to go deep into this funding because I don't have too many tribal people that follow me. So there's no need for me to talk about it. But what I will say is if you are in tribal land, or if you know somebody in tribal land, understand you got billions of dollars that's allocated just for y'all. Can't even nobody touch it. Also, if you're a person that likes to help out the tribal community, pay attention to this stuff. They're putting money towards colleges and universities that's helping the tribal students. So you could create something that helps them out. We got investing in science because we love science in America. We got $9.9 billion. Okay, that's a 12% increase. That's new money. You need to go to NSF. This is the largest dollar increase in NSF of all time. Guys, do you understand if this is the largest increase of all time, they don't even know where they're about to spend the money with. This is why we like to follow new money, because now you got a new chance. If you don't follow new money, you follow old money, and now you got to compete with old dogs that got the money, and you better be ready to go up against old dogs. And I ain't talking about selling like computers to somebody that ain't the old dog money I'm talking about. I'm talking about that 2, 3, 4 million and above. Like, this is old money that got old dogs there. But a 12% increase. So 12% of $9.9 billion has never seen a home before. Oh, I'm getting in front of NSF as soon as I can if I was in the science field. Oh, and what I love about this, will support approximately 2,300 additional research and educational grants. I told you, man, grants are a funny thing. That's why they got $9.9 billion there. Not grants, I mean research. Because you could do research all day long and come out with nothing. Again, just look at cancer, AIDS. I mean, I could just go down the list of things that they've been researching all my life, and they ain't came up with no solution yet, but they just keep asking for more and more money, okay? You got $761 million going towards OSHA, I believe, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. You got another $1.6 billion going towards the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And you got $25 billion going towards NASA. And I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is going to take some of that. All right. Now we have the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. Well, what do you know? They're helping you out for all the energy people out here. Home heating oil costs have increased by 65%. If your home is still heating off of oil, you need to get rid of it. Electricity is up 14%, and natural gas costs has increased by 15%. This funding will help offset the cost of those increases to ensure low-income families can heat and cool their homes. So, guys, this link ain't got nothing to do about you if you're not considered to be a low-income family. They don't care about, again, this is reading with no emotions behind it. They're telling you right now that the cost of oil is going up. They're telling you right now the cost of your electricity is going up. They're telling you right now the cost of that gas that's coming into your house for that stove is going up. They're giving you the percentages that is going up. The only difference is they saying, hey, if you ain't low income, we ain't really helping you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure out how to make some more money. Chances are people who weren't low income at one point are about to become low income because of the increase of everything that's going on. They ain't increasing nobody's pay, but they increasing all the expenses that's happening around us. Pay's got to get increased at some point. That's the only way to combat this. But again, the Democrats love to help out the needy, and that is what they do very well. So you'll see a lot of their stuff is geared towards low income. I really, I like that they help out the low income people, but I also believe this cripples the low income people because they got to stay low income to keep the benefits. So that means they can't go get that new job that pays them, $30,000 extra because that $30,000 knocks them out of all these free benefits that they get. That's another problem that we got in this world. I don't know how we combat it. Just keep giving. And the tax-paying people are paying for it. All right. Now, anyways, supporting law enforcement and other justice program. Oh, my God. Did they just say that they're supporting law enforcement? You mean the people that y'all voted in and that y'all was asking to defund the police and all of this? Are you mean to tell me that they're putting more money towards law enforcement? Well, you voted them. $770 million. That's an increase of $96 million for the Brine Justice Assistance Grants. No clue what that is. $700 million, the highest funding level ever for grants provided by the Office of Violence Against Women. This represents 22% increase above the fiscal year 2022 enacted levels for these life-saving programs. I don't know what the program is. You got another $324 million increase for cops hiring. Again, I don't know what we got COPS stands for Community Oriented Policing Services. Don't know what those are, but chances are you should look into it, especially if you got things going on in your community that you don't appreciate. This may not be police officers. It could be something different. The funding will place over 1,800. Well, I take that back. I didn't keep reading. This funding will place over 1,800 more police officers on the streets. Yeah, they want more police on the streets. Yeah. This is always great. I love reading. You know what I'm saying? Reading tells me the truth about everything instead of listening to people's, things that are up on social media. And again, as I always state, don't take what I say for anything. As you watch this video on replay, don't take what I'm saying. Go read it for yourself. Come up with your own interpretation. That's the other beauty about what I found out about America. When you read something and you can interpret it and you can defend your interpretation, you're allowed to interpret things any way that you want. You know what I'm saying? Lawyers don't really most people look at lawyers as the go-to person for everything. Lawyers aren't the enforcers. Lawyers just know different cases that have happened and they've studied different laws that have happened based off previous cases. They read something and they interpret that I could put this law in these other cases towards my interpretation so I can tell the judge, and the judge is the one that matters. When the judge hits the little gavel on the thing and he says, that's it, that's the person whose voice matters. It's not the lawyers. The lawyer is trying to get them to view your interpretation the same way. So I tell you that because every time that you guys read something in government, you should be reading it under the mindset of interpreting things your way. Okay? But anyways, let's get back to it. Our 1,800 new police officers that'll be hitting the streets soon. We got $231 million going to state and local law enforcement assistance and community-oriented services office grant programs related to police community relations. So this is a funny one. In our neighborhood here in Prince George's County, they keep doing like these police weekends or something. I forget what they call it. Community police weekend engagement things where the police and the community come together and throw a party, which I can't stand that they throw a party in my neighborhood. It drives me insane because it tears the neighborhood up, man. They don't do this in the other people's neighborhood. That's all I'm trying to say. They know which neighborhoods they about to come in and do this in. And I truly believe if you're going to do it in my neighborhood, you should do it in everybody else's too, damn it. I'll just bring this stuff over into mine. But anyways, dedicated funding of $45 million is provided for the cops. This includes funding for de-escalation, implicit bias, and duty to intervene training. Oh man, if you know how to train police to de-escalate situations, they got some money coming down the pipeline for you. This is for training. All my retired police officers and things of that nature, man, you could be teaching the police and making quite a bit of money. You got your crisis intervention teams ordered to embed mental and behavioral health services with law enforcement and accreditation of law enforcement agencies. The bill also provides $10 million to train law enforcement properly responding to situations when individuals are mentally ill or disabled, and $50 million for the community voice intervention and prevention initiatives. The police got a lot of money for them. But most importantly, there's a lot of money coming down the pipeline to train the police. You do not have to be a police officer to train the police. If you got a problem with the way that the police are operating in your community, I would highly advise you to get over here, follow these programs, and stop waiting for somebody else to train the police when you know you got the training for the police. Stop waiting. Be the one that's going to be the change factor in your own community. And most importantly, you're going to be the change factor for yourself because you're going to make a lot of money. Oh, the Capitol Police. You know we got to talk about the Capitol Police because we just had that riot and all that stuff that goes on. So they had to put some more funding into that. I always tell people, we got emotional about that whole little rioting thing. All I seen was a bunch of new money. Well, let's look at this new money that got created out of just thin air. Literally, out of thin air, money got created with new policies and procedures, new windows, just millions of dollars. Let's take it to new millions of dollars with that riot created. Okay? This bill provides $734 million for the Capitol Police, which is $132 million more than they got in 2022. This covers the most current department needs for salaries, including the hire up of 137 more sworn officers and 123 more support and civilian personnel, bringing the force to a projected level of 2,126 sworn officers and 567 civilians. $2 million goes to provide off-campus security for members in response to evolving and growing threats. Our Capitol Police. And guys, that is the end of go all the way back up here so you catch the title. The Omnibus Appropriations Bill for 2023. So what I advise you guys to do, I seen a couple questions in there. Where do I get the document from? Just go to Google, type in Committee on Appropriations Bill. It'll pop up. You can look at it. All right. Once again, drop your fire emoji in the comments wherever you are looking at and let me know if this was valuable for you, if this provided some information, if you picked up what I was putting down. Okay. We're about to dive into the Q&A segment here. Ask any question pertaining to government contracting or running your business. I'll go ahead and get through those for you. Don't forget, put a Q with the dash sign followed by your question, and I will be able to get those answered for you there. All right. In the meantime, guys, make sure you are hitting that like button. You are hitting that subscribe button. You are hitting that share button and telling somebody else out there in the world what we got going on over here so we can help impact lives all around. All right. Let's see what we got here. Marsha said, move this down. Sorry. Marsha said, I did attempt to bid on some food products for prison on Marketplace, but every time we bid, it says lagging. What price points are they looking for? I don't know. I don't know what price points they're looking for without doing my own due diligence. That's the thing about this space. There's like no set price. There is no set price to anything. There is no set markup to anything. I always tell people, you need to know your numbers, and that will help you understand how much to mark stuff up. So for instance, if I was to tell you, you should mark up all of your items 20%, because that's what I do. Well, my expenses, let's say my expenses are $10,000 a month to keep my business operating. Where your expenses, because you got an office building, streaming a millionaire earners, Travis, Facebook, stopped. Continue. Sorry. All right. So let's say you got an office space and whatnot, and your expenses are $30,000 for your HR, your accountant, your lawyer, your office, all that stuff. It's $30,000. And I told you to put 20% markup on things. Well, 20% for me and my expenses gives me quite a bit of profit in the deal. 20% for you may only give you $100 in profit. So to me, it wouldn't make sense for you to go after that deal that's only going to give you $100 in profit to where it's going to give me $1,000 in profit. So you need to know your numbers so you know what percentage to put on top of stuff so you even know what type of deals you should be going after. And again, I know you may be saying, well, I want to sell a computer to the government. I want to mark that up and make money off of it. Okay, cool. Do that. But there's still going to be no set percentage to put on top of it. Now, if you look at that computer and you go, hey, when I first got started in this space until I started understanding my numbers better, I may have thrown because I usually get the products cheaper than retail. Okay. So I'll look at the retail price and I would just put a couple extra dollars on the retail so I could win. But again, as I started understanding my numbers more and understanding how business operates, I came up with a rate that I put on top of every project. I don't care what the project is. I now have a rate that fits me and my business model. And if the project can't take my rate, then I don't want to do the project. Because I would be losing money and time by just listening to somebody say put a percentage on stuff. So I personally do not ever give anybody a percentage of what they should be marking stuff up with. Well, if you want me to lie to you and just give you something, do 16 to 24%. It's a good space to be in. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. All right. 06, I found a bid, tens of thousands of pounds of beef. Would I have to pay all that money up front if I won the bid or sub knowing it's for the government? Would they extend the net 30? There you go. So it's possible that they could do a net 30 with you. Possible. But you just told me tens of thousands of pounds of beef. I'm just going to do something quick right here. What is the average price per pound of beef? All right. It tells me the average price per pound of beef is $4. Well, they got all types of different beef. I'm just going to go with the cheapest one. They got $4.80 per pound of beef. You told me you got tens of thousands of pounds of beef. Now, sometimes I'm doing this because we just got to talk this out loud. And I need you to put yourself in the position of the person with the beef. If somebody waved their hand to you one day, you got all this beef. You know what I'm saying? And if you got all this beef, chances are you've been selling beef. You didn't just wake up one day and I got tens of thousands of pounds of beef. You've been in the business of selling beef for a long time. So you know this game. You get an email or a phone call from this person saying, hey, I'm doing government contracting. I want to go after a bid for 40,000 pounds of beef. You go, okay, well, can I have your company's name? They go look up your company name, your website raggedy. You know what I'm saying? They call the company's phone number. It goes to your cell phone and you answer the phone. What up? They go look at your past performance on FPDS or USA Spending and they never seen that you primed the contract. And now you're asking them to front you beef. Would you, if you were sitting in that position, front a stranger that ain't got no track record? Tens of thousands of pounds of beef that if I multiply those tens of thousands of pounds of beef by $4.80, I now got hundreds of thousands of dollars. Would you give a stranger 30 days of beef with no money? Chances are it's going to be no. You know what I'm saying? So since I know that ain't going to happen on the other side if I was there, why would I be asking somebody for that? So yes, you're going to have the money for the beef up front is what I'm trying to tell you. Now, you could get credit cards, you could get loans, you could phone a friend. There's options to get the money out here. But what you're not going to do is buy that beef until they send you a purchase order that they want to buy that beef. But once they send the purchase order, you got to go buy the beef. There's factoring deals out here. There's people who can factor invoices. All you need to do is know how to obtain, where to obtain the amount of money for the beef and how much it's going to cost you to obtain that money. Okay, so if they make you put down payment or you got to pay interest or whatnot, understand how many months you're going to have to hold the money. Is there a penalty for prepayment, early prepayment? Understand that. Know your total interest costs, and you're going to attach that to your invoice that you bill the government. So instead of building the government for $6.80 per pound of beef because you put a couple extra dollars on it, you now need to bill them $7 flat so it could cover the expenses of obtaining the money to buy the beef. So I hope that answered your question. Can you do a V? I do not know what a V is. So no. Does your program teach how to how to get subcontracts? I am new to Gov contracts and I'm in trucking industry. I am in the trucking industry. Will the 7-day challenge help you, or is it more for experienced people? No, the 7-day challenge will definitely help you understand subcontracting as well as just contracting, period. It will teach you contracting. That's what my 1-year program does as well. And if you can just understand contracting, you'll realize it fits subcontracting, it fits prime contracting, it fits driving trucks, it fits selling food, it fits doing cybersecurity. It's contracting. So it doesn't matter what the contract is. I teach you contracting. Now, once we get down inside of your niche lane, we don't get that deep. So like, I don't have the paperwork that you will need to do real estate and government contracting, leasing deals. But what I advise you is you're going to know contracting. Just go read the RFP about the leasing deal, and it'll tell you everything that you need to supply for that contract. The only difference between the 7-day challenge and the 1-year program is the 7-day challenge. We're going to go really fast for 7 days. Like, we ain't going to play around. You're going to learn all the information crammed in, and you're just going to have the Facebook group after that to communicate with. The 1-year program, again, I know this takes time. So you'll be inside of the group, and as problems come up, questions arise, you'll be able to jump on my monthly calls and get the answer, opposed to paying for a consultation link every time. Because I don't answer calls for people who aren't in my programs. All right. Joshua, unless you're here on my lives, I answer the calls or questions on my live. But once I get done with lives, I do not answer questions because I can't take all day answering everybody's questions. I would never get anything done. Can you do a quick breakdown of how you would search for mechanical engineering opportunities on SAM? I have plenty of videos already on YouTube. Please go back through them and watch them. And they do break that down for you. All right. How do I get tax exempt for products or contracts? Is this done through the state or federal level? Yes, you do got to get your tax exempt number. If you just Google it, the form will pop up for you to fill out, and then you're done. After that, anytime that you want to go get products or products from people, you're going to need to fill out. I'm looking for the form, and you guys again can Google this form as well. It's not special. You're going to need to get a resale certification or certificate, not certification, a resale certificate. They're standard. That's why I'm telling you, just Google it. Resale certificate. You're going to need one for every company that you're purchasing products from. Okay. They'll be able to fill it out, blah, blah, blah. And you have all of this so you don't get charged taxes. If you are buying products for the government and reselling it to them, you should not be paying taxes because you cannot charge the government taxes. And yes, you can even set your stuff up on Amazon once you get your business done and get your numbers in. You can set your stuff up on Amazon and they won't charge you taxes either. So by all means, take a look at that. All right. I don't believe I have any more questions there. I think I seen one on Instagram, but a lot has happened since then. Let me see if I can find it. Do you do joint ventures? Yes, I do joint ventures. It just got to make sense. This is why Chase Bank is building new development programs, probably. What site are you on? Just Google the title. How does someone become a consultant for government contracts? The easiest way to become a consultant for government contracts is learn government contracting. It's hard to become a consultant when you don't know the ins and outs of the space. Also, again, you can utilize. You don't have to be like a consultant like me. You don't have to be as polished as I am to consider yourself a consultant in government contracting. If you can get your business registered in sam.gov, you know more information than a lot of people. So you could become a consultant to getting people registered in the system. If you know how to get your certifications, again, you can help a lot of people become a consultant to registering them in the system and getting their certifications. You ain't say nothing about you didn't say anything about you were going to consult to get them contracts. You said, I'm going to consult to get you registered in the system. So the more you learn about government contracting, the better consultant you can be. And I will give you a heads up, as a consultant, you'll probably have a bunch of government people hating on you. Always willing to talk about the things that you got to say. Definitely, if you're talking about you'll charge people to do their certifications or whatnot as a consultant, you're going to get a lot of government hate. And I truly believe that they want to charge people for it. They just don't know how. They don't know how to run their own business and generate their own revenue. And they get upset that somebody else has figured out how to generate revenue. They're going to talk about all of the free programs that are out there and that you don't need to pay a consultant to do X, Y, and Z. Well, damn it, they can't serve everybody, and neither can you. And the beauty about being a business owner, doing your own consultant, you don't need everybody. You can have 10 companies that you consult for and let everybody else go to the government. So I'm telling you that because we got to stop letting these government personnel to go to work every day instill fear in us for moving forward or bettering ourselves. I don't give a damn what the government employees got to say about anything. You know what I'm saying? We in this thing called business for ourselves. You are generating revenue for yourself. So if you got information that can help somebody out, you help them out. Point blank, period. And you don't care what nobody else got to say. And again, that's for all my government employees that got something to say about what I got to say. I don't care. And I'm telling you guys, you should not care either. Let's make this money and let's help these people. All right. Let me see. He said, I forgot. I skipped your question. Did you put a Q in the front? I can't see the questions if you don't put a Q in the front. Q followed by your question. All right. Q dash followed by your question. Sorry. I see. How's my boy Nike? He's violent. We look back. Did I miss any? I don't see it. If you're already, okay, here we go. Christian said, if you're already working for the government contractor as an employee, what contracts do I need to avoid? For example, if I work for, let's say, for example, if I work for CBP, do I need to avoid DHS as a whole or just CBP? If you're already a government contractor. So I'm taking it CBP. I don't know if that's a government agency or I know DHS is, or the actual contract company. So regardless, if you're working for a contract company, you can't do the work that they do, right? You can't go to the customers that they got. I would advise you. Well, let me not say that you can't, because some companies didn't do their stuff right. You should have gotten a handbook, an employee handbook, when you got hired. In that employee handbook, it should have told you what you can and can't do as far as competition. So they probably have a non-compete clause in there that you cannot work alongside their customers. You probably can't do the business that they're doing. So you wanna make sure you read that employee handbook. Now, what I would advise if you're doing something completely different, I would say go to another agency that your current company is not working at. Also, what you could do is, if you like the company that you're working at, go look at another agency for the same work that you do, create your business or whatnot, or whatever you want to do, and approach the owner of the company and let them know that you want to do some joint venturing or partnerships to go after these deals. Because there's two things that tickle people's feather: making them more money or saving them time, which makes them more money. So by you doing your due diligence and finding the opportunity and saying, hey, I know an agency that I've been building the relationships with to do this work, but I really need you to be my partner because, I've worked for you, and I would love to continue this with you. Here, now you got a fair chance of playing in that space. So again, I would advise you to just stay away from the agency that your current company is working with. And if you work for government, you need to talk to your HR department. And my advice there is completely get away from the agency that you're working with and don't do anything that you're currently doing at work. If you're working in the Army, Navy, or something of that nature, avoid all DOD. Go to the civilian agencies and don't do anything in the DOD space, and don't do anything that you were previously working with. Go sell some TVs or something, but just do something different. All right. Let me see. Next question here. Go ahead and hit that donation on that YouTube, new owner. All right. Let me see. What else we got here? Oh, I see your question. As a consultant, how much do you charge as a retainer for clients, and how much percentage do you get for each contract? Also, how much meetings should you have as a client a month? All of those answers vary. But I will tell you, when I first got started, I was charging $5,000 a month with a 3-month minimum, so $15,000. We would do 2,500. How'd it go? Our retainer would go up $2,500 per $2.5 million that we bought to them. Plus, we were getting a 1% fee, or I'm called 1% fee of the base year of that contract. So whatever that contract was, let's say it's $4 million let's say it's $5 million over 5 years. Usually that first year is going to be your lowest year, because your contract goes up in value every year. So let's say that first year was only $800,000. We would get 1% of the $800,000, not of the profit. I ain't worried about your profit. The total value of the contract in that base year, we get 1% of. That's how I got started. Right now, what we currently do, depending on the level of how they need us to consult with them, if we're just providing them with information and showing up at meetings. Hold on, wait, before I continue doing that, we got some donations in the house. Appreciate the donation there. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Got to give a shout outs To all the donation, New Wanda, I appreciate you for holding us down. But let's get back to it. Again, guys, if you guys hit that donation button, make sure you visit travisknows.com so you can access some of our sauce there. All right. Now, again, if you are on that government side, okay, doing that, you just got to be mindful. My bad. We were talking about the consultants. What I do right now, we charge anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a month. If you just want our team to build your pipeline and talk to you about moving your opportunities, which you should be doing moving forward, that's the $10,000 range. Again, we still got 3 months minimum that they got to hold us down. Our retainer still goes up $2,500 per $2.5 million. The only difference is we don't do a 1%. We now do a 2% of the base year of the contracts. For $15,000 a month, they bring us in as well as consultants. We do everything that I said before. The only difference between the 10 and the 15,000 is 15,000 puts us on the ground for you. So we actually go to all of the meetings for you. We need the business cards. We need our pictures on your website. We need an email address for your company. And we start to hit the streets representing your company. We do all the shaking hands and the kissing of the babies for you in the name of your business. And we only call you in when the meeting matters. Okay? So if we're just, networking, doing relationships, showing up at industry days or whatnot, we're not calling the company's owner in until we get the key player to sit down. And now we call the company's owner in because they got to sell. We don't sell, I can't sell your business. You have to do that aspect of it, but we just make sure we don't waste our customers' time sitting down at pointless meetings. That's what we do for $15,000. So hopefully that answered your question. All right, the next one that we got. What do you suggest for someone with an online t-shirt store? Get a DBA or create another LLC for government contracting? Well, it really depends on the name of your business. If it's such and such t-shirts, then yeah, I'll probably just do, you could do a DBA, a doing business as, or you could just start a new business. But I would definitely start something different if the name got t-shirts in it. Because it's not saying that you can't do more. It's just the name. The name of the business don't look right. So it may could scare, potential purchasers away strictly on the name of the business. All right. Can you do a V? Oh, I already said that. I don't know what a V is. Does your program teach? Answer that one. Can you do a quick breakdown? How do I get tax exempt? We did that one. Can one get government contracts with a DBA or LLC? You can get it with a DBA. I got to your question. As a consultant, what is the best charge for your retainer monthly? And how much percentage do you charge? I answered the percentage. Yes, monthly retainers is the best way. Oh, and you did ask about meetings. That would be between, honestly, you and your client. Most times I'm trying to meet with my clients every week, once a week. And here's the thing. My clients try to tell me we could meet once a month. No, the hell, we can't meet once a month. My money is based off your success. The retainer money is cute, but damn it, I don't just want the retainer money. I want you to win contracts so I can get a percentage of the base years. And I don't want you winning any contracts. I want you winning the contracts that cost more than $2.5 million because I get my retainer to raise $2,500 and I get a fee off the base year. So I want to meet with them every week to make sure their ass is staying and doing exactly what the plan said to do. Not doing their own thing, because when you do their own thing, they end up interrupting my money. So yeah, I hope that answers your question there. All right. I just registered on last week for my small business, sole proprietor and management consultant. Any advice to pick the right government contract? I'm glad you just said that you registered as a sole proprietor, so we can eliminate the people who always say you need a business in order to do government contracting. That's just not true. You don't need a business. You can do it as a sole proprietor. It's not the best way to go about generating revenue as a sole proprietor, so I'll start there. But for your question, so any advice to pick the best government contract? Follow the money. My advice is wherever the most money is, that's where you're gonna have the most opportunities to be successful. You don't follow the money, you make it hard. All right. Let me see. Do I need to register in SAM for HubZone benefits? Well, you got to register in SAM to do anything first. Even to apply for that HubZone, you're gonna have to have that business registered in SAM. Once you can get registered in SAM, then and only then can you start the process of getting registered for HubZone. I just registered on last week. Picked the rate. All right, answered that. My phone died. I don't know if you answered my question. I can't remember the question. Do you do anything in regards to contract writing? Nope. Which sites do you use to find out what the government previously paid for service before I enter the bid? You can use usaspending.gov or fpds.gov, Frank Paul David sam.gov. I'll also state that it does not tell you what the price is for you to bid. It's giving you the information of somebody who previously won the contract. But as I stated to you all earlier, when you win a 5-year contract, 4-year contract, that the first year is going to be your lowest year. And the price goes up every year after that. So as you look at those contracts on FPDS and USA Spending, understand that that ain't the current price. You looked at the price of a contract that was won previously. Chances are the value could have risen. So you do need to keep that in mind. All right. I believe I have answered everybody's question here. All right. Once again, if you guys got value out of this, you can go ahead and drop that fire emoji down there. You feel free to donate $1 or $2. I've always accepted all donations. I also do want to give a shout out to my guy Trey. If you guys enjoy the Pure Money song, make sure that you are putting in your Apple Play Store, Google, whatever, wherever, search Pure Money, and you can actually find the song. Yes, the song is right there in the Apple stores, the whole nine. So shout outs to Trey. Big energy to him for making that happen. Okay, I thank you, my guy. Again, search Pure Money on all streaming platforms. You should be able to find that song. Outside of that, guys, that's all that I got for you all today. I love you all. We will be back here next week. If you need to find out anything else, you can visit www.travisknows.com. Join the programs. Don't forget, you can join our Facebook group, govconcheatcode.com. That'll put you inside my government contracting Facebook group. Or you could visit our business Facebook group, puremoneylegacy.com, P-U-R-E, puremoneylegacy.com. If you want to get inside of our 7-day challenge, that will be happening in 31 days at the end of February. You can get yourself registered right now at this moment. Again, you can join our 1-year program, and it has the 7-day challenge recordings in it. So you'll be able to actively, get involved with that. But before I do get up out of here, I see we got the big spenders in the house. You know what I'm saying? I got to show my big spenders some love. It's only right. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for donating to the cause here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Every dollar I don't take for granted. So thank you once again. I post you up here again. You know what I'm saying? Got to show the love to the big spenders. It said FY. Let me read this message right here. been instrumental in helping me understand complexities of this field. It has been a great asset. I seen something at the end. My professional development, FYI, Chat GPT wrote this message. That is funny, Rome. That is hilarious, Rome. Chat GPT wrote this message. Look, guys, if you ain't in my Facebook group, puremoneylegacy.com, we're currently teaching how to make 10K in 30 days. Yes, how to make 10K in 30 days. And I'm not even charging for it. Not charging one single dollar to get the video replays. If you do want to get in my email thread and jump on our Zoom calls to ask questions, guess what? I was only charging $20 for it. I believe it's at $40 right now. So for $40, you could be involved in the actual whole program, or you could just go watch it for free. If you ain't making $1,000 on the internet right now, like if you can't open your Instagram or open your YouTube and generate yourself $1,000 in a month, let alone $10,000, you should be in my Facebook group, puremoneylegacy.com. Get registered and start getting trained so you can check out how you too can use that special software and write an amazing message like this, like my girl Ryan is doing. That is funny. I'm going to be laughing about that one all night. Chat GPT wrote this. I'm telling you, Chat GPT is changing some lives out here. And just FYI, I done wrote some proposals with Chat GPT too. Just, you know what I'm saying? That's all I can tell you guys. Again, we talk about it more in our programs. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. I appreciate each and every person once again. Let's get that Pure Money song rocking out here. I hope that each and every one of you all have a great night. Again, drop a fire emoji down in the chat no matter where you are. That lets me know that you guys are picking up some of this information that I am putting down. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this out with just two more entrepreneurs, minority entrepreneurs that need to find out about government contracts. And then I want you to add me. Go ahead, post this on your social media, at me, official Travis Davis, so I can repost you as well and get you some of my followers. But most importantly, we can spread this message and bring our minority entrepreneurs home and generate a lot of revenue fast. That's what I'm about. I love you all. I'll talk with you all later. Have an amazing weekend. Stay safe in these streets. Remember, take good notes. The notes ain't never going to teach you anything. I've never ever learned a lesson in my life through notes. The only way that I've ever learned in my life is through taking action. So start taking that action now and stop being scared. I love you all. Talk with you later.